Okay, welcome everybody to our Sno-King Water Watchers monitor meeting for October 30th. Here's our agenda for this evening. First of all, just going to say welcome and get introductions for everybody who's here. We'll hear any kind of updates that people have to share from themselves and their program. We'll talk about some things that we did this summer. Dalen is going to share with us what's up on the data dashboards front. We'll talk about some new web pages that are under development that will be showing our sites, our data, and featuring our monitors. We'll have a brief LaMotte update and some Q&A. So that is the plan. So first of all, I'll just start it off with monitor and partner updates, and I'll stop sharing and just go around and see if anybody has any stories or news to share from their monitoring front. So feel free. And also just, I'd like to go around and do a round of introductions too. So I'm Eric Admin, Sno-King Watershed Council. Maybe since I see people in the camera, I'll just go around and call on people to introduce themselves. So how about Glenn? How about you and Linda?
Yeah, I'm Glenn Heyman. I do monitoring with Linda Sue, who's over here there she is. We've got 4 sites that we do, one on Bear Creek, 2 on Stens Creek, and 1 on Evans Creek, all kind of around Parago Park in that neighborhood.
Awesome. How about Stacy Admin?
Hi, I'm Stacy Admin. I don't have any updates.
You brought Eric.
I made sure Eric is here. I monitor with Eric on Little Swamp Creek, and Little Swamp Creek has been very silty lately, and we've been trying to figure out what the turbidity is caused from, and it may be activity in the beaver ponds at Twin Springs Park upstream. We can't figure it out.
How about Dalen?
Yep, my name's Dalen Gates. I'm the GIS specialist / data management or data manager. One small update I think I give to Eric real quick. I fixed the Little Swamp Creek Kempback dashboard earlier today between our meetings.
Oh, awesome.
But other than that, you guys are going to get more of an update from me a little bit later today.
Cool. All right, how about Danielle?
He caught me while I was finishing a bite. I'm Danielle Schmidbauer. I monitor in Logboom and Bothell Landing with Jeremy and Sally, and no updates at the moment.
How about Kate?
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm in Kirkland, and I'm monitoring tributaries to Juanita Creek, Hazen Hills, and main Juanita Creek, and then I bop over every once in a while and sometimes see Glenn on Bear Creek.
Yes, she does.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Eric. I do North Creek, Penny Creek in Mill Creek, and sometimes Scriber Creek in Linwood.
Awesome. How about Eric Strong?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm Eric Strom. I handle supplies and sometimes equipment, and I hopefully will begin to monitor again. I had a back fusion that seemed to interrupt that, but anyway, that's about it.
Thanks, Eric.
I'm glad you're on the mend.
Good.
How about Kelly?
Hi, Eric. I'm Kelly Siskoya. Sorry, I don't have a camera, so you get to just hear my voice. I monitor with Bob and Kathy Lieber out in Des Moines, Washington on McSorley Creek inside Saltwater State Park. And there's nothing really too exciting going on except that we're looking at getting different equipment to get better readings on flow and whatnot for our creek. So we're looking at filling out some grant applications to get some additional equipment. above and beyond what we currently have.
Sounds good. Jeremy Jones.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeremy. I help monitor on Creek 0056 here in Kenmore, as well as Horse Creek up in Bothell. And I get to work with Danielle and Sally, who are also other wonderful monitors.
And Jeremy developed a great model report card for his creeks that we're gonna copy and make available for other creeks.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks to Dalen's great data and quick hands on the data there to also get it to us very fast. So much appreciated. Yeah.
How about Brian Saunders? Can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Oh, good. I'm Brian Saunders, and I'm from Lake Forest Park, and we monitor Mackler Creek and Lion Creek and Bechetla Creek. Yeah, not much going on.
Aren't you adding a whole bunch of sites and more volunteers too?
We received a nice little grant from the Waterworks grant from last year or 2 years ago. And we're using that to purchase some equipment and get some students to do a lot more sampling of our little tributaries that come down into Mackler and Lion Creek. We want to see if there's any differences in the way that those small tributaries actually contribute to the degradation of those of the main creeks that come in there. That'd be kind of fun to see that all put together.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, how about David Bain?
I'm David Bain, and I'm looking for people to help me out in the Sammamish River, Blythe Park, and the Blue Heron Landing Marina, so we can continue to look at baseline conditions as water flows through the former Wayne Golf Course, and after they finish the restoration work there, we can see whether that makes any difference. I've also been doing a lot of cabling at outreach events the last couple months, and also getting some work started up in the Snoqualmie River Basin.
Awesome. How about Christina?
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm working with Kate and Lori on Bear Creek and just upstream of Glenn's sites.
And then we got CLC. I don't know who that is.
Sorry, that's me. That's Cameron from King County Department of Natural Resources. Not technically a water monitor in your group, but I'm just interested in what you all are up to. My work brings me around the unincorporated part of King County, and because of some certain state requirements, I spend a lot of my time in either the Bear Evans Basin, Issaquah Creek Basin, or on the White River side of the Enumclaw Plateau. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Cameron. All right, awesome. Well, glad to see you guys all here. I'm going to continue on through our program. So Stacy mentioned these are just a couple of pictures from our local. We noticed that we had high turbidity in our creek. Went out with turbidity tube, took some samples, and maybe related to some runoff around the end of a beaver pond, which we haven't decided if it's due to construction activity in the area or something going on with the beaver pond yet. So just to kind of give a quick rundown of what we've been doing since the last time we all got together. One of the things over kind of late summer and fall was stream monitoring and BIBI, benthic index of biotic integrity, which is another way of assessing for macroinvertebrates. And so we did this a few times at some different locations. And right now we're kind of basically at the end of that season. The best is really August through early October. Once it starts to rain, it's going to affect your results. So we're kind of done with that, but we did some training and went out and did several sessions of that this summer. We also did some training. We did an all-day training with Whale Scout. David and I did, and we picked by accident the rainiest day of the summer on July 29th, and it was just torrential, and the creek looked terrible. So probably actually in retrospect shouldn't have been out there based on the bacteria results that we got, but we didn't really know that at the time. I would say next time I'd probably pick a different date, but aside from that, it was a good day of training. We also had our annual volunteer appreciation picnic on August 14th, which was a lot of fun. And I got to see some of you guys there, which was great. Glenn supplied us with some amazing barbecue, so that was awesome as well.
You're very welcome.
Yes, thank you, Glenn. We also had our Stream Fest event on September 14th. And so here's a couple of pictures from some things that were happening there. So we had Perk was there doing fish prints, which was super popular. New this year, we had Jasmine Wang doing, she does mermaid lunally. And so she's like, little kids just gravitate towards her, and they'll read stories, or she has them fill out notes about like make a wish for fish, and they write, you know, what they want to see for fish and water quality, and stick it in a little fish bowl. And so that was super fun. But next year we're probably going to pick a better time of year so that we get better weather and more people. Also want to highlight some new web pages. Now this is a screenshot of just a portion of the web page, so I'll scroll through a few little screenshots. They don't really do it justice. We have a guy who's actually a WordPress developer working on some new pages, and the idea is that the page will have some photographs. This is based on the report card that Jeremy produced, actually, the kind of the format, but it's sort of got some narrative about the creek, map, some photographs. There'll be links, live links to data dashboards that are being produced by Dalen. So people will be able to see that, and they'll be able to select the time period and download data right out of that. I also had to laugh because the web developer just picked random names for people. And so he picked these names, and but this is an example of how we'll feature also the monitors who are doing the water monitoring. So I think this is going to be great, and I'm hoping to get this up and running in the fourth quarter. The next thing I want to just talk about briefly and turn it over to Dalen actually is to talk about the dashboards. So I think what I'll do is I'll quit sharing now and turn it over to Dalen and let him talk about the data dashboards, where they're at, and how people can access those.
Yeah, I'm excited to tell you guys that so far we have active dashboards for the active sites that are currently have been inputted into the Esri system. So all the sites that you guys said you were monitoring here earlier today are available. I'll give a little screen share of these sites. So there's 22 active sites. You can see probably many of the sites you guys are working on now: Leon Creek, Mickleer, Horse Creek, Swamp Creek, all these here. Bachelor, is that how that's pronounced? I heard that earlier. I was wondering how that was pronounced.
Bachetla.
Bachetla Creek. Very cool, yeah. But anyway, so we can go take a look at one of these particularly. So we open it. Takes a minute to load the data, but it's all here. On the left-hand side, we have all the chemical survey results. On the right-hand side, we have all the bacterial survey results, as you guys have seen. If you guys want links to your guys' dashboard, just shoot me an email and the name of the group that you'd like to have the dashboard for, and I'll link them directly to you. These dashboards will also eventually be linked to the Sno-King Water Watchers website. So you'll have a avenue to get to it from there as well. I just want to give you guys a quick update there that you guys will have access to those. Do any of you guys want the links to your guys' dashboards now or soon? Yeah, I see a cake.
Yes.
I'd like, yeah.
Here, I'll put my email in the chat. Just go ahead and shoot me an email and the name of the creek, and I'll send you guys that dashboard. And as you guys do your monitoring, the results will display live and kind of help you keep track of the health of the streams. In terms of stuff that I'm working on now and future projects, I'm kind of reformatting some of these dashboards to be better suited for being displayed on the Water Watchers website. Something else I should also mention is that each one of those charts that you saw on the dashboard, I have links to specifically those charts. So if you wanted a chart specifically for like air temperature, water temperature, pH, E. coli, and you just wanted that chart to be center focused, I have links to those as well. Just shoot me an email that you'd like a request for a specific variable chart, and I'll send those to you guys as well. Some other things I'm working on are just further automating the process of putting in a survey, having the dashboards be automatically created. It's a lot of Python scripting in the background. You guys don't need to know too much about that, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Lots coming in in the future, and I'm happy to say that it's moving forward.
Hey, Dalen.
Yeah.
Do you want to share either that overall one or one of the specific ones for a second? There's a couple things I want to point out to people about what you created.
Here, I'll pull a specific one so they can kind of see how that looks. Let's say percent oxygen. Percent dissolved oxygen. 4. Let's take a look at the Horse Creek one. All right. It's coming up. Here we go. So this is like what a specific variable dashboard would kind of look like. So if you have like the title, you're looking at this as percent dissolved oxygen. And then also, thanks to Jeremy. Big thanks, by the way, Jeremy, for all those descriptions. Made my work a lot easier, not having to look for all those. The only thing I added was an addendum where the standards come from. This is per Washington Administrative Code. You can also take a look at the date, adjust the date. So if you want to like specifically see what are the most recent inputs, you can do that and hover over them and see the specific date and the specific variables. What did you want to show, Eric?
Yeah, and also maybe just mention how people can download the data once they
yeah. So in the bottom corner of many of them, you can click right here and it'll download a spreadsheet format of the data for that site. I should show that to you for the complete dashboard as well. Yeah, so here you can see it as well. So if you want all the data for the chem, on the chem side, you can click here and it'll send you all the data within a spreadsheet format. I got to turn on the download for yours particularly. I think the other ones have it. Yeah, there we go. Right. This is still Little Swamp Creek. That was the editing. Here, 1 second. Hide floating. Here goes one. So this is like Mickleer Creek. If you want to download the E. coli data, it's also here. So if you want to look at
one thing I want to point out about how Dalen made the bacteria chart, we had a big discussion about this because sometimes what you find is with bacteria data, you might have results that are like 100 or 50, and then all of a sudden you might have one that's like 5,000. And so it was really difficult to display that because it was really hard to interpret. So what Data did is he created a logarithmic display so that it can show the kind of the regulatory standards, and you can actually see when it's super high, but you can also see the lower ranges as well.
Yeah, I think this might actually be a slightly older dashboard I was using. Let me see if I can get a newer one.
The other thing I'll add while he's pulling that up is that these displays that he's coming up with, these are kind of like just the display itself with a little bit of explanatory material. But on the website, these different displays will feed live to the web page as well, and they'll have a little bit more context around them that explains more about the variable, why it's important, what it means, and so basically you'll have the ability to get this data displayed like this, like if you just want to see your data, but then in the website, let's say you want to share it with somebody who's not versed in this, it will have more explanatory material.
Yeah, yeah. We have that kind of a spreadsheet format that's getting implemented straight into the website, so you can have explanations there. But that's kind of where that's at. I'm happy to say that that's continuing to move forward.
Oh, Dalen, can I highlight another feature on there real quick?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll pull it up.
So if you have your dashboard from Dalen, you can make any of those graphs bigger, and you can select the time frame that you want by moving the slider at the top. You can also, like in the coli one and the all chem data, you can turn off and on some of the different variables, or you could in the previous versions. So you can kind of customize it to make it what you want. It's not perfect, but it works real well. So
yeah, if you want to take like a screenshot and display it for somebody, turn off certain variables. So say you want to just look at the geographic mean and make sure it's within the Washington administrative standards. You can see that Leon Creek is a little bit out of the Washington standards. So it's like you can take a closer look at some of these variables. Or if you want to look at the highest single sample, just take a look at that and see that, yeah, there's a couple dates where it is falling out of the Washington Administrative Code. And then you can take note of these dates. And maybe kind of compare it to maybe some other variables or think about how this is affecting the greater ecosystem. But yeah, that's also very useful. All the graphs have that little option to maximize it, and all the graphs have the option to switch where you're looking at, what dates you're looking at. And also, if you're wondering where the creek is, I did put a little inlay so you can see. Oh, Leon Creek's up here, Lake Forest Park.
That's very nice.
I hope it really helps you guys with displaying the data and showing it to officials and everything. Yeah, but other than that, just a lot of data management in the background. If you guys need a specific data pools like Eric sometimes does need from me, I was able to make him like a seasonal report where I pulled how many results were submitted per season for like the entire year, as well as like what monitors were working on it and what dates they were pulled. So whatever data you guys are putting into the survey, there's ways I can do data queries to pull that data out. Another thing I should probably mention, as I mentioned this to Eric, is once every month I'm running a backup. So if something were to happen to any of the data within the Esri system, I have a backup version of the data to restore it. So restoration process has mostly been kind of worked out on my end. So I care a lot about this data, and I know that if something were to happen to it, you don't want something to happen to it. So I always like to be really, really sure. You always need backups.
Another nice thing about having these displays now, I mean, this is an integral part of what we want to do, is be able to share this data and see what's going on with it. But also it helps us audit our own data entry, because you might, if you see some number that all of a sudden you're like, well, how the heck did that number get there? You can zoom in, look to the specific value, see what it is, and then we can go back and take a look at the data sheet and say, oh, that person maybe accidentally didn't enter it incorrectly compared to what they had written down on the data sheet. So it helps us find those issues as well.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you do see any issues with the data, shooting me an email, or pretty soon probably even Eric an email, it's very easy for me to go in the back end and just make a very quick correction. It takes like a minute or two.
Hey, Dalen, thank you so much. This is awesome. This is really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really happy to help you guys out. And, I really want to see you guys continue getting out there and monitoring these sites, because, yeah, it's really important. Water quality is everything.
Well, and just for public outreach, people want to know what their creeks are doing, and to be able to have that graph to show up is really huge. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ability to see the summarized data and understand what the trends are is just super revealing and important. So I really appreciate your work.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Once again, yeah, shoot me an email if you want to get these dashboards before they're on the website, just so you can kind of keep up with how your work's doing. You got anything else to add, Eric? I think that's everything kind of on my end. It's like what I'm working on
No,
right now is a lot of just data management stuff, a lot of script writing, and a lot of testing, a lot of tests. It's like as much as you see on the front end, there's so much more that goes in on my account, where I'm just running dozens of tries on dozens of scripts till they come out, working right.
hey, I'll add one thing.
Yeah.
If anybody out there's got a high-paying GIS job and they want to hire somebody, I can recommend someone.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like right now I'm doing this work. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of side work for Dr. Malone and everything, but I'm totally looking for some long-term GIS work. I love working with data management. I love working with the GIS, love working with Python and SQL and all these different, database management options and coding. But it's hard getting a job in the sector. But that's an aside. I don't know, put all my
I just
my
wanted
problems
to
up
do a
front.
little marketing on behalf of Dalen here.
Yeah, thank you, Eric.
Okay. Just got a couple other things to cover, I think. So dashboards is a huge thing. Super glad to get that going. Just a quick update on LaMotte. So we had an issue with LaMotte. They quit supplying tablets and said their tablet making thing was going to be out of service for months. And then the last time I went to place an order with LaMotte, they're like, oh yeah, we got tablets again. So if you have the solution version instead of the tablets, that's fine. And we have given out instructions for that. If you have the tablets or need more tablets, we have those too. So that's the LaMotte update. Yeah, I guess the only thing left is if anybody has any questions or good of the order, anything else to share. And other than that, thank you for what you do.
Eric?
I'd like, go ahead.
Eric, it was over a year ago, you did some BI training out here. I haven't seen those results.
Yeah, what happened with those results? Those results are now available. We had a little bit of a glitch at King County. So BI, the process is we go out and we collect samples, and then we send those samples to a taxonomic lab, and then depending on the lab, they enter that data in something that's accessible to King County, and King County has to do something with that data to get it to show up. And let's see here. So let's quick run through this. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Puget Sound Stream Benthos website. So this is where the data ends up when we do BI. And so there's all these different organizations that do projects and have done monitoring, including us. And so we have a project. And so if we want to find out our data, we can go, okay, project. So basically it kind of got buried on somebody's desk at King County is the long story, is basically what happened.
Never.
So these are the data that we have right now. And Kelly, I don't know if I've showed you this or shared you with this last time, but so we've done Bear Creek a couple times, we've done Little Swamp Creek a couple times, and we've done McSorley Creek in 2023. So I think last year the Bear Creek results that we did at Friendly Village, I think were these results here. So,
Mine too.
Yeah, and so actually they're not bad. They're in certain categories they were low. You can kind of see the scoring on the bottom. In certain categories they were very good. And this is kind of gives you an example of how Bear Creek actually compares to some other creeks around here. Little Swamp Creek, unfortunately, not such a great scorecard. McSorley Creek and Saltwater State Park, not such a great scorecard. So, and this also gets to another interesting issue, which is correlating these with the stream biomonitoring results that we get, because they don't always correlate 100%. So, but anyways, that's where that data ended up, and
Thank
that's
you.
how you can access that data on the Puget Sound Stream Atlas website.
Hey, Eric, just can you go back to that real quick?
Yeah.
Is it Kathy McNeil? Is she the, I believe she's the person that we contact, or she's the direct contact for putting things up on this website. You know, if you click on, I love the way they color code their scoring. That to me is really nice. But if you click on their chart, like click on their chart trend, see if this comes up. Yeah, it's not color coded anymore. I really wish they would color code their charts to reflect their scoring, right? So if you got above 40, it should be yellow, and below should be red if it's below 20. That to me would make a nice visual just for, again, for public outreach, you know, just because I've had people from the public get to this website and they go, well, what do these bars mean? So it really, they really,
Yeah.
if anybody's in good standing with her, I mean, I don't know her.
I probably
I
am.
haven't pissed her off or anything. No, I just
Yeah,
don't know her. But if anybody knows her, that would be something that I'd really like to suggest to them. That would be really helpful.
Yeah. I can suggest that to her. I actually have worked with her a bit over time and probably have. I'm on speaking terms with her. I bribed her with a jar of honey before to take our results to Montana. So
Nice. Well, I know that we did BIBI out there on McSorley Creek again this year in 2024, but I don't know if Bob ever sent you those results.
I think that you guys did, you didn't do BIBI, but you did the other type of stream biomonitoring, which is where we identify it and score it ourselves, which is the Global Water Watch stream biomonitoring.
Well, we did something like that.
Yeah.
You were doing looking at the rock sizes and counting up the critters and doing all that.
Yeah, I did get that information from Bob, and yeah, it was really actually the Friends of Saltwater State Park. So Kelly and Bob, and I don't know who all else monitors with you guys, but they do a very thorough job. So they do like twice a month. They do physical, chemical, and bacteria, and then in the fall they do flow monitoring, habitat measurement. They use I don't know if any of you have been through our BIBA training, but we have basically a pebble count, a way of assessing the substrate, characterizing the substrate. So they do that, and they also do stream biomonitoring. So they do like all the disciplines of monitoring consistently and seasonally. And I did get that data back from Bob.
I wanted to comment on the turbid water we were dealing with. We found in a lot of cases when we have high turbidity, we get high bacteria levels. So after you put your hands in the creek, it's a good idea to use hand sanitizer, especially when the water's turbid, because that's when the levels are likely to be unsafe for minimal contact with water.
Oh, I will add one more thing, which is an interesting thing. I got asked by one of the Whale Scout interns who is doing a research project in high school. They're going to do a project trying to correlate bacteria levels in runoff from the former Wayne Golf Course in Bothell with usage patterns. So like dogs in particular, but they're going to try to correlate like those, how much people have dogs and how much people are not picking up dog waste relative to what sort of bacteria levels are shown in places where runoff goes into the river. So another interesting side project. Okay. Anybody else got anything else to share?
Eric, have you sent out those eDNA analyses for the different creeks? Weren't you looking at bacteria?
Yeah, that's another project that's going on, and we actually have we did one more round of sampling, and we have just recently gotten correspondence back from our from the analysis of that. So maybe at the next meeting we'll present the results, because I think we're going to be in a position to synthesize those results finally, and we could share that at our next monitor meeting.
And just so people know, I'm also got a company that through my grant is going to be, we're going to be taking about 6 samples along the creek. And they can test for somewhere on the order of about 15 different species of fish. So we're going to see, especially at this time of year, how far salmon are getting up our creeks, and then also looking to see if there's any invasives in there. I know there's sculpin that seems to be causing some problems in our creeks, so it'd be kind of nice to see, what levels up a watershed that salmon are able to get to, and what kind of fish species they're competing with. So that'll be something else we can kind of think about as a fun way of assessing our creeks.
Mm-hmm. So that's using eDNA and focusing on fish.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Nice to see you guys, and let's keep in touch. Happy monitoring. See you next time.
Thanks much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Eric.
Bye.